Hey guys, Britton here, also known as Smoky Dude, and today I'm coming back with a new video. I've been seeing people recently talking about videos or books they're going to be reading during the summertime, so I thought it'd be a good idea. I mean, I'm off from school now, so it's freed up my free time, so I have some more time to read books. Even though I've been reading a lot this year, lot more than I was expecting. But I'm just hoping that this list will not be too ambitious for the next 3 months. So yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, so one of the books I'm going to cover first is Razer Blade Tears from S.A. Cosby, which is a crime novel. A revenge story is what it's pitched as. It's about two guys going after people who killed their sons who were together in a relationship. And not too much more I know about it. I know it covers a lot of themes of regret and, of course, revenge. And there's also discussion of homophobia in this. So I'm sure this book will be really interesting. Also, if you look at the cover, I mean, come on. Like, this looks like a good summer read that you'll read while you're, on the beach or something. That makes it sound bad. But, yeah, you know me, I'm a big crime fiction nut. I covered Blacktop Wasteland on this channel. I'll link that video below if you guys want to watch that. Definitely S.A. Cosby has that gift with Lahane of finding deeper emotional, stakes of being in the criminal underworld. And this book, I'm sure, will do the same. I haven't read it, but I do plan on reading it. And it looks like it'll be a very good book. I do hope to get to it. Another book from an author who I've already read this year. It's Hollow from Brian Catling. I read The Vor. Took about 4 months for me to complete that book. Wow, that's crazy. I might talk about it at some point. Might even get Jason on because he did a video series read along discussing. The Vor book, so maybe we can have a conversation about that. But Hollow, I kind of feel bad now because I thought maybe I should have read Hollow first. It's a much shorter book than the Vor, but it's 254 pages. I just found out right now, and Hollow looks like another weird, interesting, very unique fantasy from the very strange mind of Brian Catling. I'm definitely looking forward to this whenever I get to it. I'm probably going to wait a few months because, I just completed the Vor last month. And, yeah, I like to spread it out before I like to spread out a book before I read from an author again. So, yeah, Hollow is definitely going to be one of the books I read during the summertime. Next one is the next China Mieville book I'm going to be covering, and it's going to be a doozy. It is Embassy Town, which is his rather straight take on science fiction. Apparently it covers language. This is one of his shortest books. He tends to make big chunkers, but it tends to make chunkers. If you saw my Perdido Street Station, The Scar, he likes to create some chunkers. But this one's pretty short, but I've heard it's one of his most complex novels in terms of the content that's in this and just the linguistic sophistication of the whole thing. I'm kind of nervous to actually get to this book, but I'm hoping that this book will prove to be good. I know China Mieville really enjoys really pushing the limits of how science fiction and fantasy can be written, and I'm hoping that it's the same thing with Embassy Town. I've enjoyed most of the novels from him I've read. Loved Perdido Street Station. Really enjoyed The Scar. Iron Council I thought was okay. It wasn't that great. And The City and the City's pretty good too. That's actually a book I want to reread at some point. But yeah, Embassy Town is definitely going to be my next book I'm going to be reading from China Mieville. This is one I've been wanting to read for a while. Hopefully it's the type of cerebral sci-fi that I enjoy. It's definitely going to be a journey. I'm looking forward to Embassy Town. Next book I'm going to be reading is my first Jonathan Lethem book, and that is Gun with Occasional Music. I discovered Jonathan Lethem because he is a big fan of Philip K. Dick, as am I. and I've heard some people describe him as sort of a modern-day Philip K. Dick in some ways. I'm very interested in that. Gun with Occasional Music does seem like a Philip K. Dickian type of story, so I'm very much looking forward to that aspect of it. It's a sci-fi, weird noir, so I'm looking forward to that, because I like all that, so, yeah, I'm hoping this book will be good. It would really suck if this book turned out to not be very good, but, yeah. Next book I'm going to be covering is another one that just screamed summer to me, and that's The Killer Inside Me from Jim Thompson. I remember my dad looked at this book, and he looked at me, and he was like, "Is something wrong? Are you are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine." But yeah, Jim Thompson is sort of the crown princes of noir fiction, and sadly, like a dummy, I haven't read any of his books yet. So I do hope that The Killer Inside Me will be his first. Will be the first book from him that I enjoy. It certainly even has a foreword from Stephen King, so there you go. And we even have a blurb from Stanley Kubrick himself. That is not a novel I would expect him to like, but then again, him and Jim Thompson worked together on some movies. They did. But yeah, this is going to be my first Jim Thompson book. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I really hope that Jim Thompson is as good as his reputation suggests. It's certainly, I've heard it's a very disturbing book. It's a very messed up book, so I'm looking forward to it, because I'm a weirdo. I like disturbed stuff. Disturbing stuff. Next book I'm going to be covering is Nick Cave's In the Ass Saw the Angel. This is definitely a book. I'm actually debating on if I should cover this in the summer or if I should do it in October, because I've heard this is kind of a creepy book, a good book for Halloween, because I have these Halloween readathons that I like to do during the month of October, so I'm not sure if I'll cover this now or if I'll cover it, or not now, but during the summer, or if I'll do it during Halloween. But I definitely wanted to put this book. I wanted to put this book out there so I could keep up with all the books I'm reading at the moment. But yeah, Nick Cave is great. I love his scores that he does with Warren Ellis. Not the comic book writer; he's a musician. They work on Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds together. They've done some film scores together. The Proposition, The Road, The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. I know Jason will appreciate me bringing that movie up. Really great stuff they do together, and I do like Nick Cave. I haven't really listened to much of his music, but I'm always interested when I see a artist known for one thing cover something else. So like when a musician, writes a novel or something, or something like that. So yeah, Nick Cave is In the Ass Saw the Angel. I'm definitely looking forward to reading this whenever I get to it. So here we go. Nonfiction book I'm actually hoping to cover is I'll Be Gone in the Dark from Michelle McNamara. Some people might know her from Patton. She was married to Patton Oswalt before she tragically passed away in 2016. This was the book she worked on for a good majority of her life, trying to find the Golden State Killer. I'm definitely interested in reading this, because I do have a passing interest in true crime. It's definitely something that I do have, well, like I said, a passing interest, but that's beside the point. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this book. There's an introduction from Gillian Flynn, who I just covered on this channel, and an afterword from Patton Oswalt, who Michelle McNamara was married to. Very sad situation. I'm definitely planning on checking this book out, hopefully reading it during the summer or in the next month or two. Definitely planning on it. Next book here needs no introduction. It is my next read from this author, and that is Cormac McCarthy's Suttree. I asked a friend of mine if it would be a good idea to read this during the summer. I thought it would be a good read during the summer, and my buddy said, yeah, you can read it during the summer, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm definitely planning on checking Suttree out. Cormac McCarthy is, I've covered him a few times on this channel. I've talked about him a lot on my podcasts. I've talked about him with other people. I've covered him. I did All the Pretty Horses on here. I definitely want to cover some more of his books in the future. but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But Suttree is one I haven't read yet. Suttree is his last novel in the Southern Gothic genre before he really started doing westerns, and before he did, No Country for Old Men and The Road, and before he did any of that, he wrote Southern Gothic novels, and Suttree is his last one. I heard this isn't too plot-based. It's more of a character-driven piece, which I appreciate. But I've also heard it's more of a... it's a very strange book, so it definitely is not a conventional one. It's definitely not... It's definitely a slice-of-life story, is what some friends of mine put it to me. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check out Suttree when I get the chance. I am a big fan of Cormac McCarthy. I will read anything he writes. I do hope to check out The Passenger, which is his newest book. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, and I haven't felt like the itch to read it yet. The Crossing is definitely a book I'd like to check out at some point, so yeah, and his other, Southern Gothic novels like Outer Dark, I'm definitely planning on it. But Suttree is going to be my next Cormac McCarthy. I don't know when that'll be, but I'm definitely going to do it sometime between the next 2 or 3 months, so there we go. Another book I got here is one I've been wanting to read for a while, and that is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay from Michael Chabon? Don't know. This is my second book from him. I read Gentlemen of the Road, which is basically like a Jewish version of Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser from Fritz Leiber, which I thought was, just fine. But this book really appealed to me because it's about comic books, and you know me, I'm a huge fan of comic books, and this is basically a part love letter to comics and the creative process, is what I've heard. I am definitely planning on checking this out. I really want to see what all the hype is about. I mean, this won the Pulitzer Prize. I mean, my God, this has to be really good. So yeah, I'm really hoping that The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay is good. I am definitely planning on giving it a read at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on reading it this summer. Hopefully next month, but again, I'm not sure because I read a lot. So, last prose book I got on here is another from Joe Abercrombie. I'm going to be starting his standalones in the First Law trilogy, starting with Best Served Cold from his this is basically the start of his standalones he did in the First Law world. I was attracted to this because I do love me a good revenge story, and this one is apparently very good. And after the First Law trilogy and just how it made me feel, I want to read more of Joe Abercrombie. But I want to take a break from him. I'm definitely not going to read this immediately. But after reading the First Law trilogy, I'm like, oh man, I have to read this now. I gotta see what's going on. So yeah, it's the standalone. Apparently, you can read this without reading the First Law, though. A lot of people say just read the First Law first. But I'm definitely planning on getting into this book soon. Hopefully next month or the month after. I don't know yet, but yeah, Best Served Cold from Joe Abercrombie. I'm definitely going to get that. So, yeah. Alright, going on to the comics that I'm going to hopefully be reading, and manga. I will be bringing up a manga in this, so not to worry, my friends. So, yeah, not too many comics. I'm definitely going to be, reading the series, hopefully, during the summer. I will admit, I haven't really been reading a lot of comics recently. I've been kind of slacking on them, but these are ones that I would like to read, that I definitely would like to start, and the ones that I'd like to continue and finish, so, or reread, if that's possible. So, yeah. First comic I'm going to bring up is Middle West. Now, this is kind of an odd one, because I did read the first issue, a few years ago, and I really liked it. I thought it was really interesting. It's a good hook to the story that this comic is trying to tell, and I'm definitely wanting to see what happens next. So I'm technically continuing the story. It's kind of odd, but Scotty Young wrote this. He's the guy who did I Hate Fairyland, which is a book I have not read. I don't know if I want to, because his art is really weird. Not to my taste, I'll put it that way. But I'm definitely planning on checking this out. It looks whimsical. It looks strange. It looks unusual. I'm definitely down to check out what this book's got to say. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to dive into this when I get the chance. Hopefully in the next couple months. Next series I'm going to be covering is Firepower from Robert Kirkman. If you guys know me, you know I am a Robert Kirkman fanboy. I love Invincible. I love The Walking Dead. I enjoy Outcast. Pretty much all the stuff I've read from him I have liked. He has a very good sense of storytelling, and he knows how to carry a plot through several arcs without losing the threads. Well, unless you're The Walking Dead, but, that's beside the point. But yeah, Firepower looks really fun. It looks kind of like his take on, like, Iron Fist and Kung Fu movies and Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it also has the art of Chris Samney, who did the Mark Waid Daredevil run. I am not a fan of that run, but I do like his artwork, and I do hope that this book will really get me on board with his art style. I mean, Robert Kirkman always has a good eye for talent. I mean, Robert Otley is amazing on Invincible. His art style is just unbelievably good. And just wonderful, beautiful, We also have Charlie Adler. He's very good in The Walking Dead. Paul Azaceta is probably my favorite artist that he's worked with on Outcast. His art is just, man, so good. I can't even put to words. But yeah, so Firepower is definitely the next book I'm going to be getting from Robert Kirkman. And hopefully it'll be good enough I will continue reading it. It's definitely in the kind of Shang-Chi, Iron Fist kind of thing is what I'm getting the vibes from this. So hopefully it's good. I'm really hoping it's good. I have faith in Robert Kirkman. He's rarely done me wrong. Next book I'm going to be doing is Headlopper. This is one I've been really curious about because this is just the artwork looks unusual. It looks kind of like Mike Mignola's art, and I'm a big Mike Mignola fan. I love Hellboy. The short stories. I like the short stories a lot more than like the main story. The short stories are just amazing. The story's good too, don't get me wrong. It's not like terrible. But yeah, the art style reminds me a lot of Mike Mignola's style. I mean, you can kind of see right there. And, I love Mike Mignola's art. It's weird. It's strange. It's not unlike any comic art, at least in mainstream coverage, that is. Now, Mike Mignola did not do the art. Andrew McLean wrote and drew this. And I am a big fan of seeing that, as you know, so I'm definitely going to be checking this out. I love how this looks, and I want to see what it's about. So I'm definitely going to be doing that. Yeah, so let's get to it. Comic that I own here, this one here is going to be the omnibus version I got of the Ballad of Luther Strode, the Luther Strode series, which is kind of like a Spider-Man-like story, I've heard. It's kind of like Flex Mentallo meets Spider-Man a little bit, and then there's like some weird conspiracy stuff. You know me, big Spider-Man guy, so I'm definitely going to check this out. And this is a series I wanted to read for a while. My local comic book shop guys were really, really selling me on this, and I really hope to get into this summer. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I do hope to get to it eventually. It's definitely a series I want to try. Last comic I'm going to try for the first time that I don't actually own is 100 Bullets, which is a Vertigo classic, apparently, from Brian Azzarello and Edmund Riso, I think is his name. I might have to check again. But I'm a big fan of Brian Azzarello's work. His stuff with Lee Bermejo, like Joker, is amazing. I love his work with Lee Bermejo. I did read another series that he did with Risso, and that's called Moonshine, which is basically the gangster genre meeting werewolves. And I love gangsters. I love werewolves. It's a solid series. It's very good, but I might need to check it more, see if it gets better. But 100 Bullets is a one that people have been telling me to check out for years now. And I'm a fan of Criminal. So, I'm a fan of Criminal, so a lot of people tell me if you like Criminal, I think you'll like 100 Bullets. I really like the concept, which is about these guys, this one guy called Graves, and he ends up going to people and saying, okay, you can take revenge on this person who screwed you over in the past. You'll have untraceable bullets. You'll never be charged with a crime. And we can give you what you want. And I really like that conceit because there's a lot of stuff you could really do with that. And hopefully it'll prove to be a good series to hold my attention. It is 100 issues long, so hopefully it doesn't lose its tone along the way. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Speaking of Criminal, I'm going to be now getting into the last part of this video, which is comics I hope to continue / finish, and that is, and speaking of that, I got Criminal. I love the first volume of Criminal. Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips always work well together, and this is the first series that really blew up their partnership. I'm a big fan of the previous arc of this series, Coward. I have it up there. I just don't want to pull it up. Excuse me. But yeah, Lawless is the next arc in the Criminal series. I'm definitely planning on checking it out when I find the chance. I might actually read this soon, so maybe I'll put up a review for the first Criminal volume, Coward, because it's a standalone story. You don't have to read this to, you don't have to read this. You don't have to read Coward first, but I like to go in chronological order because I'm weird like that. But yeah, Lawless is apparently going to be like a revenge story. I haven't really gotten into it yet, but I definitely plan. I've been planning on reading this for a while now. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I'm hoping to get more into the series as I move along. It's definitely Criminal is definitely a series that I'm keeping my eye on. I love Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I think Brubaker is one of the best storytellers in comics working today. So, yeah, there you go. One series I plan on finishing is one of my favorite comic series working right now, and that is from one of my favorite comic book creators working right now, and that is Jeff Lemire and Black Hammer. I am a huge fan of Black Hammer. I love this series. It's such a interesting take on the superhero genre. I mean, I might even dare say it goes into Watchmen levels. How much, like, so many, like, references to comic book history, and it's filled with detail, and I love it. The characters are phenomenal. There's so much emotion and heart in this, and I just love it. I think Jeff Lemire is really good with these, like, really kind of deep emotional stories, and he tends to do well with them. And I'm definitely planning on rereading this. I'm hopefully gonna finish this at some point. But I love Black Hammer. I think it's a great series. It's definitely a series that I think everyone should read. I also like about this series is that it doesn't really go. It isn't like trying to replicate Alan Moore. It's like trying to do its own thing. It's basically, well, it's Jeff Lemire's take on superheroes, and it's fascinating, and I love it. He really takes a more human look into superheroes. Not so much Alan Moore, where he kind of takes the idea to its logical extreme, but he isn't afraid to portray these superheroes as just people living their lives and just trying to, get by. I love that. It's not trying to, be Watchmen. It's not trying to do, it's kind of like Invincible. It tries doing its own thing. I wouldn't say it deconstructs the superhero genre, but it definitely adds a more human element to superheroes, and it shows them as people, and it's really fascinating. And again, just the references to comic book history as well is just really fascinating. Jeff Lemire, this is a great series, and I want to see how it ends, because the mystery in this is just so engaging. Another series I'd like to continue is another Jeff Lemire one, and that is Descender. This is a science fiction comic about a child robot. That's him right there. They end up finding him after this invasion happened. I started this, and then I was like, yeah, this is alright. But then I want to start it again. I want to continue it and see where it goes. I love the art from Dustin Nguyen. Just unfathomable. Just, it's so good. Look at that. It's freaking... You could hang this on a gallery, man. That's really quite the thing. And, but yeah, Jeff Lemire again. He's one of my favorite creators. I love his work consistently. He has had a couple of duds over the years, but not all of them duds. I really enjoy most of the stuff he's done. And I hope that I was kind of just meh with this first volume, but I'm hoping that I can reread it and keep going and see where it goes, because I am intrigued by it. I do want to see what happens next. Descender is very good. And this is one I've been wanting to do a big reread of this for a while, and this is definitely going to be one that will take up a lot of my time. I love this series. I think it's a fantastic series. It's a very popular one, and that is Saga from Brian K. Vaughan. This is one of the most popular and acclaimed comic series ever right now, and I mean it's really a feast of the imagination and story. It's a very... It shows why Image Comics is some of the best comics, like, going on right now, because they're so good. I can't even put it into words how... I did a old review of Saga a few years ago. Maybe I'll link it down if you want to see it. I think it's pretty bad. But I would love to do another review of Saga at some point, because this is an incredible series, and I do want to read it again. And I'm definitely, next month, I'm going to be doing a big reread of Saga. I'm going to catch up with... I'm going to reread the first volumes I've read, and now I'm going to catch up with Saga, so I can get to volume 10 where we're at right now. Because I've been meaning to do it, I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm going to do it now, so that's definitely what I'm planning on doing. But yeah, Saga is unbelievable. The hype is warranted. Please check out Saga. It is a fantastic series. Also, the art from Fiona Staples is really quite nice. It's a very good series and great characters. So many memorable ones. It's just, oh my gosh, it's so good. And it's also a very human story, despite the fact that it has these like winged people and horned people. You know, it's a very human story about trying to raise a family in all of this craziness that there's a war going on. It's very insane, mind-bendy at times, but again, it's a surprisingly very touching and human story at the edge of it. But yeah, it's pretty much it. So yeah, that's basically all of the books that I hope to read. Oh wait, no. Actually, I forgot something. I started Pluto back in March from Naoki Urasawa, who did the excellent manga Monster, which I have recommended a few times on this channel. I've also recommended a few times on other platforms. I'm definitely planning on reading Pluto, or not Pluto, but I'm definitely planning on finishing Pluto, because I started Pluto and I enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. I don't know if I love it as much as Monster, but it is very good. It still has that really deep emotion and really, really engaging science fiction, I really have to say. I mean, it really takes that sort of Asimov kind of science fiction and thinking about what the future will look like, but adding that more human and emotional element to it. And it's very good, and I really enjoy that. I want to finish it, though. I'm halfway through the series. I'm hoping I finish it. I'm actually hopefully going to do that soon. So, yeah. Now that's it. I can't believe I almost forgot Pluto. But yeah, so we're going to be, so yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go check out my Twitter. where I'm more uncensored than I already am right now. If you want to check out my Goodreads and Letterboxd, we'll probably read reviews that are much more coherent than the one you just heard right now. And check out my Discord and come talk to me. I definitely would love that. So yeah, that's all I got for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be back next time, and I will see you guys later.